What's happening, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Galactic Explorers Podcast. I am your host, Lunchbox, and today we are joined by our usual duo, as of late anyway, Phil and Chris. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Awesome. And we have a very special guest with us today. A few of you might know who he is. I don't know, maybe a few of you do, a few of you don't. Definitely around the No Man's Sky circle. And we have got Cobra TV with us today. How you doing, Ron?
Doing great, man. It's awesome to be here.
Glad to have you indeed. So, we're now on episode 14. These numbers...
I believe so.
Yes, 14. These numbers are just blurring together right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we put some feelers out during the week to get some ideas from you guys what to talk about, because it's getting a little bit scarce on the information front at the minute now, on the run-up. What, we've got 5 weeks left now before the game releases?
Around about that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's that countdown's slowly getting towards us now. And I just wish there's some more information out there for us to talk about. But we've got some questions off people. So I think we should kick it off, really. And we'll start off with something from Warwick Boyle. And he wants to know, because obviously not everyone knows where to look on the internet for information on No Man's Sky. And he wants to know, where do we find our information? And where do you think is the best place to have a look for the information? So I know Chris is quite a little deviant looking person, aren't you? You're pretty devious in finding your information.
Well, I find the best place is probably Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Reddit has a lot of good information there.
Right. See, I've when it comes to Reddit, I've got no idea. So you're gonna have to give your
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, basically, they have a No Man's Sky subreddit, and it's pretty simple. You just go to reddit.com/r/No Man's Sky the game, and it has loads and loads of information on there. And it usually updates daily with new stuff related to the game. I mean, as it's not released yet, a lot of stuff is just sort of, I guess you could say, shit posts and stuff like that. But most of it's pretty good when new stuff comes out, because it's usually the first thing to be posted is on Reddit.
Yeah.
So it's good for quick information.
Yeah. I mean, it's also having quite especially when it's the videos that come out, he's having a keen eye and seeing what's in the videos.
Yeah.
Going frame through frame and zooming in and everything like that as well. It's getting those tiny details out of as much as possible out of those videos.
Gives us more information.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and decent information too. There's a lot of misconceptions and just people throwing things out there they think is right.
Yeah.
Personally, I go to these two guys on YouTube. This one guy, he goes by Lunchbox. He does these podcasts. They're pretty good. And then there's this other guy. I think his name is Snake or something like that. I forget. But he's pretty good too.
Thanks for the plug there.
Thanks for not including me.
I thought we had you covered already, man.
A good
No,
place,
cool.
though, that I've learned all of my information is just by searching interview with Sean Murray on YouTube or Google.
Yeah.
That's the best place to get your information when it comes from his mouth, or when it's a written interview and it comes from him.
Yeah.
Because he's a trustworthy source.
Right. When even us YouTubers, we can get stuff wrong.
Oh, definitely.
And people who are writing their own interpretation on other information collecting websites, they could interpret something wrong as well. So I just interview with Sean Murray, Hello Games. It'll bring up a bunch of stuff, and it'll grab the popcorn. It'll keep you busy for a while.
Definitely. It's straight from the horse's mouth, isn't it?
For sure.
Straight from the horse's mouth. I mean...
And then it's still kind of sketchy sometimes.
It's very cryptic, isn't he? It's very cryptic.
Oh my God, he is.
It's unbelievable. for a man who deals in such hard facts and precise numbers and everything like that, it's very cryptic. It's a little disconcerting at times. But yeah, so Matthew Conway wants to ask, do you think there will be, within the game, so there isn't, or it hasn't been confirmed, is there like a way to communicate with other players, apart from like, obviously, if you're using Steam, you can use like the chat thing or anything, but in-game, do you reckon there could be like a radio channel frequency if you're in close proximity to other players?
Officially, no.
Officially, no.
Right. Sean Murray has teased at a sort of basic communication, but he's never officially come out and confirmed anything whatsoever.
Right.
One of the things he always likes to lean towards is this is not a game about playing with other people.
Yeah.
Of course, it can happen. He always likes to state rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is, here recently in his interviews, he's saying that when you do come across, whenever you are lucky enough to run into another player, they want to make that a moment. So they're going to make sure that you know.
Yeah.
Ah, that's nice.
Well, I'm not sure if that means all of a sudden you could hear somebody on a headset. I don't know.
That would just be so weird.
Like you said, he's so cryptic.
Right.
Just exploring a planet, and you just hear like "Never Gonna Give You Up" playing in the distance.
Oh man, it would be rather strange.
So officially, no. But he has teased and hinted.
Yeah.
Especially in Game Informer interview.
Yeah.
And the whole issue, he hinted at it.
I mean, obviously, we spoke about this in previous episodes about the possibility of modding on the PC version of the game. Obviously, if something doesn't come across in game as a communications thing, I'm just wondering if someone will make some kind of mod that works that way or something. I mean, obviously you got Skype though and things like that. Especially if it's your, I mean, like you said, it's nigh on impossible to be able to find another player. It's going to be down to some kind of crazy ass luck that you actually do find them.
Right.
But it would be cool to see what they like you say, what kind of special event will occur when you find another person, or it's just weird to think how you can translate that across without giving it away what it is, so to speak. Like, I can't imagine it, because obviously you see other games like multiplayer games, and you'll just get, if someone pops into the game, it'll just come up in the top corner, wouldn't it, saying blah 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 has joined your game. But I just can't see how visually how it's going to be represented that you're going to bump into another person.
Well,
I
I
think-
noticed. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Karen.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I know there's a compass in the game, so you can maybe navigate the player through the compass when he gets in your radius, and that'll probably give you a good idea. And you can either
That's-
approach him
yeah.
or not approach him.
Yeah.
I think what would be more mysterious and kind of cool is if a certain type of music plays if a player's near you. And it just
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
tell you where that person is. Like, you still have to go out and seek them out.
Yeah.
You may never find them. I just think that'd be a cool touch. Like, oh man, that music played, but I never found anybody.
Yeah.
So-
Oh,
Right.
that would annoy me so much. It's like when you hear when you see an actor's face and you just can't remember what their name is, and you're trying to find out what they're in. It'd be like that. I'll be just scouring every single part of the planet
Yeah.
just to find them.
I
That
suppose it
will be
would
my
It
That'll
would
be
be
my
more
first-
realistic.
It
that'll
would
be my first way to grieve somebody. Find them and then just like go in and out of the bubble so the music starts and stops. And starts and stops.
Oh, that would be good. Oh, I can just imagine you doing that, Phil.
I'm looking for you, Lunchbox.
No. It'd be really bad if it's got that kind of sinister music, what they have, like in old style horror films.
Right.
Oh man. Right. So we also know about these possible rumors. It hasn't been confirmed about No Man's Sky being VR compatible, but it hasn't been confirmed. So obviously, guys, don't listen to this and think, oh, it's coming out for PlayStation VR or Oculus Rift or anything. But there has been a lot of speculation that it is possible. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this game being VR compatible, if it is?
For 2 years, I've been uploading video, not not literally saying it's confirmed, but showing the PSVR headset
Yeah.
in different various places of the of Hello Games Studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen
Suspicious.
that. It is suspicious. I mean, it's kind of stupid for them not to be looking into VR, really, especially with what kind of game it is. Obviously, it's a very visual, visually beautiful, and it's like these VR games are very experience-based games, but in a blown-up scale, isn't it? It's taking those basic fundamentals of a experience, a playable experience, and just blowing it out of proportion, really.
Force you in.
I mean, there's things about the PSVR. We've seen it all over the place, so it's actively getting moved around.
Yeah.
In the pictures over the years, so that, and Sean Murray's even said, yeah, we had it working with No Man's Sky in a very rudimentary way, and it was fun. And he hopes that PSVR is not going to be gimmicky.
Yeah.
Right.
But I read something. I don't know if it was an official statement from Sony, but something about how you can only use the headset for like 30 minutes at a time because of eye strain and things like that. So I think with that being said, I mean, we could sit there and play No Man's Sky for like 8 hours at a time.
Oh, definitely.
Eyes. So maybe I think they could have had plans, but now they're thinking, it could possibly, and Sean Murray did say that he could see a way to use it. Like, you're not using it all the time, but when you find something really cool, you put it on for a little while and then you take it back off.
Yeah.
He said that with the long-winded IGN interview with Ryan.
Yeah.
And I think that goes along with the statement about Sony saying you can only play it for 30 minutes at a time. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I know there was a similar problem with the 3DS when that came out, and people complaining about when they switched the 3D mode onto the 3DS, that they were getting like sickness and like straining their eyes and things. And I can see how that works. I think it might.
Yes, it's kind of trippy.
Yeah. But I think people got used to that kind of thing after a while, because obviously it wasn't something that we were used to experiencing on a daily basis.
It's pretty intense on the eyes.
Yeah. I think the last time the gaming world tried to use VR in a big way was like mid-90s, late 90s, when they had those huge headsets at arcades and things like that, and it just completely bombed. And I can see where it's coming from, where he's not hoping he's hoping it's not going to be a gimmick thing to happen again.
I think the VR itself needs a bit of improvement before it can handle a game like No Man's Sky, personally. Yeah.
I mean, I know, obviously, the Oculus Rift is probably the best one you can get at the minute. And obviously, the PlayStation VR is it's the best one you probably get, but for that price. So it's obviously not the best one you can get, but for something whatever price it is, wherever you are in the world, it's probably the best that you're going to get for that price. And I think more than likely, if with all these rumours as well, obviously not rumours anymore, but confirmed about this PlayStation Neo, I can't see them, unless I think PlayStation are holding off on this 4K version possibly of No Man's Sky, or whatever upgraded version for the Neo, and seeing how well it does when it gets released in August. Because obviously we've still got to think, there's still people who haven't even heard about the game yet.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
I know. It's coming out in a month's time, and there's people who are still like, what game's this? What's No Man's Sky?
Exactly. I'm surprised I haven't been arrested, walking up to complete strangers saying, hello, you're wearing a Minecraft shirt. Can I speak with you for a second?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I'm surprised my partner hasn't kicked me out of the house yet, because I'm constantly talking about it. It's driving her crazy. But it's because obviously technically it's an indie game, I think because obviously it's been blown out of the waters by all the support it's getting from Sony and the big community around it. It's been blown out of proportions. But then I think Sony, obviously from a business point of view as well, they've got to look at it and think, is it worth us, and is it worth the time for Hello Games to invest in making an upscaled version of the game for the PlayStation Neo, and obviously investing in time to make it fully VR compatible? Because obviously it's going to be an expensive thing to do, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah. Well, PSVR, I'm not sure about, but I was watching, what game was it? It was GTA 5. There's a video online about someone had modded the PC version of GTA 5 to be compatible with VR.
Because it's got that first-person mode in it, hasn't it?
Right. Yeah. So it's like, whether Hello Games or Sony decides to implement VR or not, somebody's going to.
Right.
It's already been done for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm. Even like you said, that was a mod as well. That wasn't obviously made by Rockstar Games to convert it. It would be interesting. I mean, like I said, it is definitely, obviously the VR headset is definitely more aimed at experiences rather than fully. I couldn't play Grand Theft Auto in VR, especially for a prolonged period of time. It would just mess with my head too much, I think. But obviously, for an experience game, obviously a game that's only maybe 6 hours long in total, from start to finish, it's definitely more suited for that type of time scale. Right. But obviously, that's the thing with No Man's Sky. It is very experience based. But obviously, no one's ever going to finish it, and obviously, it's going to have that addiction factor as well. I think. Obviously, for certain people, have addiction factor of like, I just want to know what's over this next hill or what's on this next planet, and they're just going to keep going and going and going. Now, whether VR going to be suited for that kind of thing is a completely different thing to think about. So, like I said, I think Sony are going to hang back on what the sales are going to be like, and I don't think we'll see like the upscaled version for Neo until next year, I reckon. So
I don't think so either, since it didn't even mention at E3.
Exactly. In fact, personally, to me, I think E3 was complete shambles for Sony.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Weird. I didn't even finish watching it. I was like bored with it and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was. It just seemed like nobody put the effort in. Apart from
nobody, presentation.
No, I think maybe Bethesda was probably the better one, but even then, it still wasn't mind blowing.
EA did pretty well, the Battlefield one.
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, things like games that wasn't even like bringing games that wasn't even mentioned at all to the forefront. I mean, last year you had a Shenmue 3 that got announced and things like that.
Last year's was so much better.
It was so good last year's. And then
I like how they keep showing The Last Guardian. It's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
What the heck, dude? Come out with the game. Don't keep just. Are you just going to have it at every E3 now?
10 years running. 10 years it's been in development. How crazy is that?
Wow.
Oh. I mean, their bosses must have got like a very, they don't get annoyed very well. Right then. So, when we're going to be flying around in the game then, obviously we're going to have full control of the ship, or at least as far as we've seen, we're going to have full control of the ship. Now, right. Do you think when we're flying, we're going to be able to do like stop in mid-flight and just like hover where you are?
I know you can in space. We've already seen that.
Yeah.
But,
in atmosphere and things.
I don't know. I know you, and I know you could do like barrel rolls and stuff like that. But as far as there was something about, if you guys remember, a very early episode, like close to the VGX 2013, there was something about a confirmed feature where you can pull over the land and jump out of your ship without landing. or something like that.
Okay.
It was really weird, and I couldn't make sense of the feature.
Kind of
But it
like when you
sounded-
jump out of the car in GTA when it's still driving, kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know. I've
Interesting.
never even talked about that feature on my show because I couldn't understand it.
No.
But it sounded like hovering.
I mean,
Yeah.
it would kind of make sense because if you are on a planet, remember how we talked about the land not necessarily being land? We don't know what kind of planets we're going to see.
Yeah.
If you're within a planet that's like liquid or gas based, you can't really land a ship on water.
That is
so
true.
you would have to be able to get out of the ship somehow still to go mine things
Well, we have-
under
It's
the
a-
water.
I tell you what, it's a spaceship. If I can't hover, I'm going to be a little upset.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Well, we have seen like there's one of the pictures, one of the screenshots where it's the underwater scene and there's like a shark swimming, and then there's a ship just like in the water, like falling at the bottom of the ocean. I'm guessing you can like, because obviously we know you can like discover ships and obviously technologies and things. Whether you can just jump in that ship and just fly out of the water.
Oh no, it's a crash ship.
That was a
That's
crash
what
ship.
that reminded me of. Either that or
Yeah.
somebody forgot to push the hover button.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He was asked in the Game Informer podcast if you could take your ship underwater, and he said, "No, that's a bit weird. No, you have a suit." He said
Yeah,
you'll
that's
crash.
right.
Yeah.
He goes as you've seen in some of our trailers, we've got crash ships under the water.
Yeah. See, it would be more weird if his ship can't, like you said, hover. That would be very weird for a spaceship that can't hover.
Right.
That would make no sense. But yeah, like it's in that region where does it become a space simulation or does it become something else as a game?
I think it can be everything,
Yeah.
Well,
essentially.
Well, that's I mean. Do you want it to try and be? Is it going to be trying to be too much at once?
I was in a. It was on my subcast. We were talking about that. How there's so many different game styles within No
Yeah,
Man's Sky, all the way down to like puzzling,
yeah,
because you have to have a certain weapons combination and everything to figure out the way to use the portal.
yeah,
And then you have the monoliths where you have to use a decision tree to come up with the right choices. It almost reminds me of a text-based game.
yeah.
know.
Old school text-based games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, right.
And then learning the Korvax languages, that's going to be a mystery. So there's a lot of puzzling element into No Man's Sky, and I think they incorporated it really good to where
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like a puzzle game, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me have a look here. I've just got so many questions here. I'm just trying to quickly skim through them all. So we know obviously we've got like the three archetype spacecraft. So obviously like the Explorer, the Fighter, and the Trader ship. Do you think we're going to have varying sizes in ships? Because obviously we've seen them all, and they're roughly like the same size, be it different shapes.
We saw the asymmetrical ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, because obviously they're going to be different shapes. If you think they're going to be different sizes, do you think if it's a larger ship, do you think landing's going to be a problem? So obviously you need to find a bigger, like a flatter area to land and things like that. Do you think we're going to have to take into those kind of problems into account when we're coming to land, or?
I think so. I mean, as far as bigger ships, I'm not sure, but take into account where you're going to land. Landing is pretty much, it's automated. So I think when you push the button to land, the ship pretty much looks for a good place to land, especially after Sean Murray saw the glitch where Ryan landed on top of that little box.
Yeah, that whole,
Yeah.
whenever we
I
talk
forgot
about
about that.
whenever we talk about ships landing, that always jumps to my mind. That bar.
That is an epic landing there. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sean Murray was like, I've never seen that before.
No,
just that tone in his voice was awesome when he said it.
just that one leg attached to that stupid rock, just landing there. Oh,
And then again, though, that was a smaller ship, and that one leg was just enough. A bigger ship, a bigger ship, I don't think would have did that.
No.
It would have pushed off and landed on the ground.
yeah,
They
That-
have that implement within games already.
yeah,
not to change game too much, but Ark, yet again, you tame a bird, and I can pretty much land a bird right in a tree. But if I tame one of those big, huge Quetzal thingies, they're like a massive, huge bird, I pretty much got to have a mountaintop. Otherwise,
Right.
it literally just it can't do it. It can't fit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think if we do get like different like variant sizes in ships, I don't think we're going to get to the size where we can walk around inside them.
No.
I
I
know
kinda
there's
wish we
variants
did,
in
but-
ships.
Hmm?
Like, I know there's different variants in ships. Like
Yeah.
he's already stated there will be different variants, and he's
Yeah.
stated like there'll be cargo ships and stuff like that. And I imagine cargo ships would be slightly bigger, you know. So
Yeah.
possibly.
Like I said, I can't imagine they're going to be the size where you can walk around, you know, like Millennium Falcon size or anything
Yeah.
like that. And if they are going to be bigger, I reckon they'll just be longer more than anything. Maybe like got a fat ass on them or something. But obviously, because like the space stations, they've got that massive long flight deck on them. Obviously, where like completely Battlestar Galactica style, where they go shooting off down these not ramps, but the flight decks, and obviously something that's length in size, you obviously don't need to get, because you're in space. You don't need to get that amount of momentum to take off, because obviously you're in space. There's no gravity anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, because it is so long, maybe there will be times when you can get these larger ships and you can utilize that space a little bit more. Something. So another question from Levi Rivers. It wants to know, we've seen like these floating mountains and, you know, Avatar style, or large asteroids as well. Do you reckon we're going to be able to like land on them and things like that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely like the
70 questions interview. He said you could land on asteroids, and since these floating islands on the planet, I guarantee you can land on them.
Yeah.
That's just so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just the sheer diversity in the planets that amazes me the most. Obviously, like you said, seeing these floating mountains and stuff. I mean, what they've shown us is just the kind of normal stuff. And obviously, you said as you get closer towards the center, there's weirder stuff going on.
Think about it like this, and what we have to look forward to. Everyone's always like, this game's going to be repetitive. Purple grass, blue sky, green grass, yellow sky. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's so critical on the repetitiveness in No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
So think about the imagination that these guys are going to be using once you get towards the center.
Oh, I know.
It's
You're going to
gonna
have
be amazing.
Yeah. You're going to have
Right.
planets, think of the imagination, like maybe a planet that is completely hollow on the inside,
Oh.
and just a crust of a surface, I don't know, just when you think about, and you look at some of the footage from the first 65 days of Static, it's not in-game, well, what I'm bringing up is not in-game footage. It was just visuals, but it showed a lot of like these little hexagon pillars coming up. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
What's interesting is those are a natural formation here on Earth called the Irish Causeways.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know them.
Right. And during Grant Duncan's, one of his speeches, I think back in either 2014 or 2015 at the GDC, he was showing some of the things that they grabbed inspiration from. And one of the pictures that popped up was the Irish Causeways.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
So I'm like, visuals or not, I mean, these guys have something amazing planned for what we're going to come across.
Right. Kind of jumping back on the floating island, I remember seeing those too, and I'm more interested in the gravity, how they control the gravity in this game, depending on the planet, things like that. Like, we know we can blow things up, explode asteroids into little bits and pieces. Now, that asteroid is floating, or not asteroid, but the island.
Yeah.
If we were to start blasting at the base of that thing, will it break into pieces and fall to the planet, causing more destruction? Things like that. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, because obviously, if the mountain or the island is still floating in the first place, obviously if you hit it, break pieces off, you would have thought that they would have still floated.
Right?
I'm guessing.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but like I said, I think to not weird us out too much, like you said, it looks like it's going to be too repetitive and things like that. Some people are going to think that, and I think it's a nice surprise for them when they do get a bit closer to the center, and then they just come across a planet that's just so weird. It kind of blows their whole view of the game out of the water, kind of thing. It would be interesting to see what people then think after they've seen something so strange, instead of just completely saying, "Oh, this game's only going to be like a 30-hour game or something," and then I've seen nearly everything that I can see, really. And then they see something so strange that they it just completely destroys their whole grasp on reality in the game. It's gonna be
I think their biggest mistake is that they marketed it as an exploration game, and the reason why I say that is because like the outsiders, the people that aren't committed into thinking that this could be a good game, because there's a big fence out there, and there's people on the other side that are like, this game's going to suck. You can't just explore for no reason to explore. It just, I don't know. It's more like, it would have been better to say, this is Journey on steroids. You're going to the center, right? Yeah. And that there are things out there that you will not believe that you're going to see.
Yeah.
And I think that might have gained a lot more of the wider public, if they would have said something like that.
Instead of starting off saying it's an exploration game, start off saying that your aim is to get to the center. So, because like you said, some people, I've mentioned this before on previous episodes, saying like a lot of people these days, especially the younger gamers, seem quite brainwashed into thinking that you need set goals in a game, like Call of Duty style, where you need to get to this point, you need to do this and this and this. And they can't think to do something for themselves, kind of thing. They can't set their own goals, their own achievements and things like that. But like you said, because obviously from a business point of view, to get sales, obviously you need to get the greater part of the market. So from a Sony point of view, it's best for them to, like you say, set it so they say like get to the center is their main objective, and then obviously on your journey to the center, you're going to see all this weird and crazy stuff along the way.
And then put it in there. But you don't have to go to the center. You can do whatever you want. You can go this direction, that direction. And I think that's what confuses everybody, because I love games like Just Cause 2. I don't do the missions. I do whatever I need to do just so I can start running around and blowing stuff up,
Just skipping all the videos.
I could sit there and have the dumbest time in my life doing just the dumbest things. And it's fun to me. And I think that attracts, I think, there's a lot of gamers out there like that, so I think that No Man's Sky attracts a lot of people who want the freedom to go here, there, do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, they should have just left it at open sandbox, because, like I agree with you. They push the exploration word more, and it's like people who love archaeology would love something like that, but somebody who doesn't is going to go, oh, who wants to go just look around and dig for bones? You know what I mean? Because they're not into that. They don't realize that there's so much more to the game than just exploring.
Yeah, because they tune everything else out after they hear that for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny that you bring up the archaeologists. Did you hear about the archaeologists that are actually getting funded to do an archaeology expedition inside No Man's Sky?
I think I saw this.
No.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I saw this somewhere myself. Because obviously no one's going to discover everything in the game, and they're sending out actual teams to search for stuff in the game, because obviously no one's ever going to find it.
But the thing is, it's not the kind of archaeology that we're familiar with. It's a group that does something called game archaeology, I don't fully understand it, but what they do is they go inside a game, and they look at, it's hard to explain, like story and lore and reason and why.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's pretty strange. But this group has been funded to do this inside No Man's Sky, and it just blew me away.
Yeah, it's
really interesting, and I can see where that would come from too. For instance, I've been playing a lot of 7 Days to Die this past week, and I've been playing on modded servers because I want to see the difference, find good ones, bitch about bad ones, whatever for video.
Yeah.
And like this, the game is just the general random generated map, zombie apocalypse, stay alive. But I've been playing on this one server, and they've added structurals into the game that aren't normally there. Like usually there's randomly generated like houses, buildings, towns, stores, whatnot. But I've been coming across missile silos and bunkers with like hidden notes and stuff like that in them. And like these guys have modded their server in a way to like, I'm finding background as to why the apocalypse happened, I think.
Oh.
I don't even know yet because I haven't found enough, but it's making me explore further across the map. Like I've already found like 3 towns, so I got everything I need to go like find materials. But now I find myself running as far as I can to see if I can't find some of these new buildings, maybe some more information. I keep finding little notes and stuff.
See, that's definitely going to happen to me with the language in No Man's Sky. Like I'll come across one of the Korvax and like not understand anything they're saying to me, and then I'll find one word, and then it'll spark me trying to find the rest of these words, so I can understand what this alien's saying to me, and obviously what they're offering or whatever they're trying to say to me. And
I think No Man's Sky is just a completionist nightmare.
Yeah, OCD nightmare. Which is going to destroy me completely, that game. It is strange though to think that this game will never get completed in a proper way. Like you're never going to find everything. You're never going to find everything of one object or whatnot, anything like that. And just
I expect that from games nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
What blows my mind about this is we're never going to find most of it.
Yeah.
You know?
What did it say? Was it something like 99.9% of
99.9% of the world won't be found.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Which is a crazy number.
That's the stuff that's hard to wrap around your head.
See, to me, I would get annoyed about that. As a developer, I'd be like thinking, I'm putting all this effort in, and then exactly like you said, 99.9% of my game is not going to be discovered.
But when you think about it, the effort it's put in has all been procedurally generated through maths. So what the effort is the procedural generation itself, not the rest of the planet. It's
obviously
the fact that he's created all of it like that.
It's definitely a groundbreaking technology. I mean, obviously not groundbreaking, but obviously it's a technology that's been blown to such a size that it's kind of like autonomous itself, isn't it? Everything in there is growing. It's like a virtual environment. What they've just planted one seed and it's just sprouted out into this giant plant of a universe.
Yeah, they've done, people hear the word procedural generation and they immediately say, that's nothing new. It's been done before.
Yeah.
But these guys have done something different with it.
Exactly.
They've taken the technology of procedural generation and they've run with it. They took it the extra mile. They've done new things. And
they've applied it to a large-scale game.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've applied multiple algorithms, to make sure that it's evenly balanced. And it's if you've watched the, I don't even know what to call him or her anymore, Hazel or Inez, her presentation on the procedural generation was just amazing. I mean, these people have really taken procedural generation and like I said, they've run with it. I mean, they've created some new things to do with it.
Yeah, I personally see it as a bit like kind of like a piece of art where it's not being it's obviously it's a game, but it's because it's something new. No one's really gone to that kind of scale, and they've mashed that amount of genres together into like one space game. It's kind of there's going to be problems with the game. There's no doubt going to be problems with the game forever. Like this game will never be 100% perfect, but it's definitely a jumping ground for other games that are going to be similar or going to use like procedural generation in their developers going to use procedural generation in their world, and they're going to see and learn from No Man's Sky. And obviously, their games are going to be better because of it. Like there was one of the interviews where they asked him whether they would ever implement procedural generation, but onto a smaller scale. So like a planet-sized map, for instance, or even say like a Skyrim-sized map, but everything in the game would be procedurally generated. But because it's obviously such a small-scale map compared to No Man's Sky, it's going to be everything else is going to be in such smaller, finer detail that it would just be nothing would be that kind of detail ever created. But like game wise, like you don't. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, that everyone was blown away by the accuracy of a living city in the game. But if you added procedural generation to it, to obviously a certain scale, so like individual leaves are completely different and things like that, it would just be amazing.
Right.
Let me look what I've got here.
I have a quick question I can throw out here to talk about for half a second. I don't know if anybody's even heard or confirmed this, but with all this procedural generation and being a universe, not just a solar system and all that jazz, did they implement the fact that our universe slowly expands?
I doubt it.
Things happen, or is it going to be a constant?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be
probably be a constant.
Yeah, I think so.
Considering like our own universe will die out before like anyone discovers all planets in the game, it's got to be a constant. Just because if something goes wrong with the game and it speeds up the expansion of the in-game universe and it just blows up at some point, I don't think players would appreciate that. Just
especially those who have put many hours into at that point.
I'd be more annoyed like in mid trade. You got the biggest haul of your life. You're just about to press that final button to confirm the trade, and then the universe explodes or something. Oh, that would just ruin
Black hole just opens and then just sucks your character away.
Here's the thing that I'm gonna make a video about this, but way after the game comes out. But
yeah,
the theory about because this game's so big, not everyone. I mean, even as a human race, we're not even gonna make a dent in this universe, right?
Nope.
Where in the world is this game going to be 20 years from now?
Oh, I know, right?
Is it still going to be played? Is it still going to be talked about? Is it going to, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like this virtual place. It's so huge and massive, and there's things in here that no one's ever going to see. So 20 years from now, where's this game going to be?
I can either see it being either like World of Warcraft, where it just doesn't end and doesn't die, or anything like that, or it's going to be.
We'd be on like PS 12 or something. You know what I'm saying? And,
I know. Yeah.
If they don't patch a current version over to the next next generation, then it's gonna just lay and stay on the PS4, and we're all playing PS12. Are there gonna be people still playing? I don't think so. But somewhere in the world, there's going to be. I mean, at that point, is it going to be in a museum?
Well, obviously, the PC version that'll always be supported until you get to like obviously certain operating systems, obviously they'll just stop running them. But like I said, I think it'll either end up being like World of Warcraft, where it just never seems to die out, or it'll end up being like System Shock, where not many people have heard of it now, but obviously people who played it back in the day would either still play a version of it, or it'll just be like the Facebook group now, where there'll still be a small community of people constantly talking about it, reminiscing about their experiences of the game, even if they're not playing it anymore. But I mean, you still get people these days who have still got their Sega Dreamcasts or Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and they still play those kind of games.
LAN events and stuff.
Yeah, and they still go to like events, and they still pull out their consoles and the controllers, and they'll play those games just for like reminiscing about those times when they were younger and things. So I can still, I mean, if this game doesn't get patched over to newer consoles or anything like that, I think I will still always try and keep a PlayStation 4 just to play the game.
Because I think as a community, like it would just be such a shame to one day, just walk away from this when so much has not been seen.
Yeah.
So many places have not been visited.
I mean, even if you don't participate in the group as much as you used to, and then you think, oh, I know, I'll just look in the group again, and you see it, and then you still see new things, and it could like spark up that want to find some more stuff again, and you'll just pull the game out again and go out and play and discover some more.
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I know me. And I don't know how old you are, Ron, but I'm 40, be 41 this year, and I still game. And 20 years ago, I saw myself old and gray playing video games. I don't see myself ever quitting. And I get sidetracked really easy, too. Squirrel, take off. Good see.
Yeah.
And so I can see myself 20 years from now literally still doing YouTube videos. I'm almost to the center, guys. Gray hair, beard, haven't shaved.
Oh, man.
I can see it. I can see myself still playing this game in 20 years.
Well, obviously, like, people's taste in games change as you get older as well. I mean, having two...
My consumption has always been finding a bigger game and more to do.
I think mine, because I've got two young kids myself now. I think don't get me wrong, I completely loved like big open world games before my kids came along. Nah.
I will admit I took a hiatus from games for quite a few years. My youngest is now 14. She's not well-to-do and on her way, but she could take care of herself pretty much. No more wiping diapers and making dinner. You know?
And then, but now I prefer. I'll still have. I think it's the amount that I consume each year on games is definitely decreased. So I definitely won't buy as many games each year, but I'll definitely like replay at least one of my favorite games each year, whether it's like a big open world or not. But then I'll also have like one big open world game that I'll play each year, because I just can't find the time. And it's not only that, when you've got like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and things, they're constantly interrupting you in what you're doing. And obviously, a game that's so open world, if you get interrupted for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you come back to it, you think, wait a minute, what was I just doing? Because you got to find somewhere, pause it, stay there, come back to it, and then you think, right, go through all my quest menus, see what I was doing before, and then try and immerse yourself in it. Because with the big open world games, they're definitely immersive games rather than a Call of Duty game or something like that, where it's very fast paced and quick, and there is a sort of immersion to those games, because obviously, I think it's like a concentration immersion, though, isn't it? Where you're concentrating on it, and then if someone says something, you shout at them and tell them what you're going to do to their mothers and things like that.
I will admit, I have actually lost girlfriends over gaming before. I have. She's like, it's either that or me, and I'm like, your shit's in the suitcase.
there was someone in the No Man's Sky group a few months back who was saying that I got this date with this girl.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I've seen that.
Yeah, and that was before the game got delayed, wasn't it? And they were just saying, "Oh, what should I do, guys?" He was asking them for advice off of us all.
He don't want my advice.
But yeah, my taste have definitely changed. But I think this will be my big, like, open world game, not just for this year, but it will be added to that list where it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it'll be one of the games that if I don't,
I think we're all hoping that.
If I don't play it every single day, it'll definitely be something that I play at least for like 2 or 3 months each year, because I think you get to a point, because it is going to be, it will get kind of repetitive, especially if you don't find, if you go on this kind of bad stint of finding planets that don't inspire you to keep looking for new things. Because it's definitely going to be a game where it's going to have to inspire you to find something new. And I think it will end up being like a losing streak. You're going on a losing streak in certain games and you just get pissed off with it. And then you just throw your controller away, or you just come out of the game, not go back to it for about a week or two. And then you go back and then you get that buzz again to do it. And for me, because I've got a very bad attention span, I will get annoyed at it, put it down for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and then come back to it, and then get that motivation to find things again. But it will definitely always be, even if but I'm crossing my fingers, even if the game turns out to be absolute cack, and it's just a disappointment to everyone, it will still always be because of the community. Foremost, I think it's definitely the community that's made this game for me so far. So, but that's for me anyway. It's like I said, if
it wasn't for this game, y'all never would have met me.
Damn this game! Damn this game! Oh, we love you, really, Phil. But yeah, it is kind of crazy. That's because you're a newcomer, Chris.
Skype bites.
we can't shout at him too much. We're going to get him to, because he only lives around the corner from Hello Games, so we're going to get him to break.
I'll go burn down the studio if you say anything.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I hope Sean doesn't watch this video.
I'm gonna.
What's going on today? You might want to edit.
I know, right? Chris, you're in your final warning now.
Okay.
Oh, that is kind of crazy though to think of all the things that we talk about today. It's just mind-boggling, this sheer vastness of the game. It really is.
I'm really happy I don't live as close as you do to Hello Games, because I would be there like, hey, Sean, is there PvP? Oh, okay. All right, bye. Thank you.
I'll just be fighting the urge not to.
Hey, Sean.
I'll just be fighting the urge just to not break in and try and steal a copy of the game. That'd be my problem.
Yeah, well, you see, I thought about this originally, and then I thought, even if I get a copy of the game, servers won't be up, so I wouldn't be able to play it anyway. I'd just have a dud copy of the game. But it would still definitely be cool to go take a little sneak peek.
We'll have to get a drone and just hover the drone over the window. And then...
Ober's looking through the windows again, guys.
Yeah.
I actually was just visualizing that, like, hands to the side, peeking through the glass.
Yeah.
And if
checking out how much the apartment is right across the street.
Yeah. and then if you find out that no ships can what do you call it, hover, you say, look at my drone. My drone's hovering. This is how you do it, Sean. Oh man.
Show up as a pizza guy with a body cam on, just look around the studio.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that'd be crazy. But
what do you mean you didn't order a pizza?
I just give it to them for free.
I'd be in jail. Man.
Oh no. Right then. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Cobra, for joining us as well.
It's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure for us as well. Thank you very much.
It was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So I will post everyone's channels in the description below. Make sure you go check them out. Give them a like and everything like that. Sub them all. Make sure you comment as well on the video. Tell us what you think of our ideas and suggestions and answers, whatnot. Comment as well, telling us what you want us to answer in the next podcast. We'll try and get as many done as possible. Make sure you subscribe, like, share with all your friends. Because this game really is community-based, let's be fair. It's the community what's making it and driving the game at the minute. And from me to you guys, and from us to you as well, we will see you next time.